Whoa, what's going on? Welcome to the hustles out there. This the trade deadline special. The trade deadline was yesterday, Thursday, February 5th at 3. You know what I mean? Today we just jumping in. We ain't talking about who won the headlines, but we talking about who won minutes, usage, categories. You know what I mean? The NBA trade deadline, it ain't create new stars. It did reassign some responsibility. So we walking through the official NBA.com trade tracker, you know what I'm saying, deals, translating them into fantasy consequences and stuff you can actually use that can help you win your matchups in these fantasy leagues. We're in this playoff push right now, so we trying to get after it. As you know, fantasy value don't move with the jerseys, it moves with touches. Every trade answers these questions or create questions for you. Who knows? Who gained the ball? Who gained minutes? And which fantasy categories changed? Let's go trade by trade. You know what I'm saying? The first trade we got up is the Celtics and the Bulls. Nikola Vucevic was traded to Boston. You know what I'm saying? Boston got Vooch in the 2027 second round pick, and then the Bulls got Anthony Simons, 2026 second round pick. Boston gains a reliable rebound and interior scorer. You know what I mean? Chicago opens up the front court, so they young bigs make get some boost up in fantasy in the late stretch. You know what I mean? Post touches, field goals, and boards matter more than just points. You know what I mean? But Vucevic stay rosterable. It's a great situation for him. I actually like this a lot for Boston. I think it's a great move for him. I think Jalen Smith and the Bulls bigs, like I say, they benefit the most from this move. And then I think Anthony Simon's finna go crazy in Chicago. You know what I mean? I think he gonna be a great ad. I know he's been available a lot in my league, in the Hustle Sports Basketball League. But yeah, check him out. I think it's a great move for both of them. So the next move is the Grizzlies and the Jazz. You know, Jaren Jackson. It's a mega deal though. A lot of people was moved in this one. Jaren Jackson, Jock Landale, Concord, Vince Williams Jr. That's who went to Utah. The Grizzlies received Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson. I did see where they bought out Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, Georges Niang, and 3 future first-round picks. So for fantasy purposes, Utah get elite blocks, you know what I mean, stretch scoring with the Jaren Jackson move. Memphis resets their front court. They look like they're in full rebuild. No, they didn't move Ja yet. It look like it might be coming in this offseason. This trade reshapes the defensive category scarcity league wide. You know what I mean? Utah look like they're gonna be crazy going into next year. I ain't gonna lie, they look like they're gonna be right there. They're gonna be a fun team to watch. They loading up. They loading up right. Yeah. So yeah, Jock Landale didn't stay with Utah. He was traded immediately to Atlanta, you know, which leads to this next trade. Lonzo Ball went to Utah, 2 future second round picks. Jock Landale, as I said, went to Atlanta. Crazy debut for Atlanta last night. Had 26, 11, 4 blocks. You know what I mean? He was going crazy. And the Cavaliers got cash considerations in that move. That's a great move for Jock Landale. I streamed him last week. He a nice player to add. You know what I'm saying? Do it on both sides of the floor. He doing his thing. I did see what Lonzo Ball was going to get bought out. So future opportunity coming for him. You know what I mean? The Wings benefit from, Utah Wings are going to benefit from, more opportunities, more looks. Cleveland going to remain neutral after that deal. But this next deal, it shook up. It shook up the NBA. James Harden was moved to Cleveland for Darius Garland and a second round pick, a future second round pick. I think this is a great move for both sides. You know what I mean? Cleveland consolidate the offense into James Harden being more perimeter based. I know they still got Mobley and Jared Allen who can do big things. But Harden, you got a better passer in Harden. You got a better scorer in Harden. This move for Cleveland was more about the playoffs. You know what I mean? But I think Mitchell and Harden can play well off of each other. You know what I mean? Mitchell can play the 1 or the 2. He can score really great. Harden can score really great. He's a great passer. So, yeah, that's a great move on the Cleveland side of it. You know what I mean? For the Clippers, though, this is a great opportunity for Garland to see who he really is. You know what I mean? We've seen who he was in the playoffs for Cleveland the last couple of years. It looked like Cleveland kind of lost trust in him towards the end. But for his fantasy purposes, I think this is going to be a great move for Darius Garland managers. him, Kawhi, you know what I mean? They ain't really got no other scoring. They got Zubac still. They got nice role pieces. But Garland has a big opportunity to do his thing out here. So we're gonna see what that's look like. You know what I mean? So, but for fantasy purposes, if you got Harden, you got Garland, I definitely think you managers just both got a huge boost with that move. Next up is that Jared McCain move. Philly traded him to the Thunder. They got a 2026 first, three future second round picks. The fantasy impact. We're gonna see OKC adds more guard depth. They've been needing that. They got a lot of it, but they've been needing it still here recently. You know what I'm saying? Philly just cleared some way for some of their role players. I think this is a good move if you got anybody on Philly like Quentin Grimes, people similar and that's similar to those players, you're gonna have some probably a little uptick in the fantasy production. It's a deep league watch for Jared McCain though, but it did clear the way for Philly, and it may have murkied the situation for OKC. We'll see. Uh, yeah, Thunder did trade Osman Jane for Mason Plumlee. The Thunder received Mason Plumlee. That trade, actually, the Hornets ended up moving Jane in that move for Coby White. We'll get into that here a little bit later. But the Hornets and the Magic made a move. Tyus Jones, I like this move for the Hornets. I really like what the Hornets doing. They trying to compete. You know what I mean? They guard play, they stacking up on it. They look like they balling. The Hornets did get Tyus Jones 2 future second round picks, and then the Magic got cash consideration. So I think Charlotte gonna stabilize the assist, the playmaking abilities, you know what I mean, especially for that second group, that bench unit, you know what I mean. And then, we could see them definitely playing. We could see Jones playing with Lonzo and Brandon Miller and Coby White at some points to help them get cleaner looks. Excuse me. Jones is a roto or a category stabilizer, not necessarily a volume monster, but I do think he has some good opportunities with Charlotte. We'll see how the minutes shake out here after this, since the trade deadline just ended. Next up, the Pistons made a good move. There was a 3-team deal. The Pistons got Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric, 2026 protected swap pick. They gave up the Bulls got Mike Conley, Jay Nivey in that deal, and then the Timberwolves received cash considerations. Detroit, they're going to boost the spacing, bench scoring, three-point production. And with that roster, that's a great move for Herter. I think he can have even better games. I spoke about him on an episode earlier in the season about he was a great streamer. I think going into a better situation, contending right now, is going to help uptick his production for sure. He's going to get cleaner looks with that Detroit lineup. So, that's a great roto watch and category league watch for my category players and the roto players that's out there. Now, Mike Conley, I mentioned him in this trade with Detroit. Chicago doubled back and made the trade with the Hornets. They sent Coby White to Charlotte, him and Mike Conley Jr. The Hornets did buy out Mike Conley. I saw that this morning. He's also going to return back to the Timberwolves. So, the Timberwolves probably going to look the same as what they did before the trade deadline. The Bulls also got Colin Sexton and Osman Jing, as I mentioned earlier, and they got 3 second-round picks in that deal. I think it's a good opportunity for Sexton as well. Going to Chicago, I think he's a bucket getter. You know what I'm saying? The young bull, he could definitely run with the best of them, a downhill scorer. Great opportunity. Jane also a developmental piece. So I think Chicago, with them moving Vooch, he has good opportunity to, improve his game and to get some minutes out there in Chicago. As I mentioned, Charlotte bought out Mike Conley Jr. He will return to Minnesota. You know what I mean? But Coby White, I like this move for Charlotte. High volume score, stabilizing points, threes, free throw percentage, clear offensive role. Or at least I think he's going to come off the bench, a clear offensive role. And I think that's a great look for Charlotte. His value going to rise. I know he's rostered in my league, but yeah, if you have him in your league, I think this is a good opportunity for Coby White. And the same as I said for Colin Sexton, a good opportunity for him, good opportunity for Jane. So I think that kind of cleared the way for some of those guys. Those were some streamer guys I had mentioned before, but it kind of cleared the way. That trade was a good trade for them individually. As we know, Trae Young was traded to the Wizards in January. Uh, the Hawks got C.J. McCollum, Corey Kispert. McCollum has been playing good, with the Hawks. You know, they got off Young. Washington making some big plays though. Washington, we gotta watch them. This year may be a wash, but next year they looking like they're gonna be solid. They absorb some high usage guard play. Assist, point scoring. Deep three range. The offensive identity for the Wizards changed, and then even with this deal right here with the Mavs, my Mavs, we we got out on the Anthony Davis sweepstakes. I ain't gonna lie. With that first game, when he dropped the 24, 13, and 6, I was bought in. I thought it was gonna be something crazy. He just couldn't stay healthy. It happens that way sometimes, but he did get moved. AD, the Mavs saga with AD is over. He was moved to Washington for D'Angelo Russell, Jaden Hardy. I mean, not for them, with them. Jaden Hardy, Dante Exum. My Mavs, we got Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malaki Branham, Marvin Bagley III, and then we got draft consideration. You know what I mean? I think this is a move for next season. The Wizards, they got elite point production, rebounds, blocks with the Anthony Davis scoop, guard usage with D'Lo, Jaden Hardy. I think he's a great piece. I like what he could do. You know what I mean? The pace probably going to slow next year, but I think for this year, those guys I was mentioning, Trae Johnson, Bilal Coulibaly, Alex Sarr, those guys are going to benefit from this trade because this looking like it's going to be a next season move. As by the time AD come back, the Wizards may be out of playoff contention. I know Trae Young was projected to come back at the end of this month, like February 20th. We'll see if that's updated as the season go on. But for the Mavs, the interior usage got removed with AD. I mean, it wasn't there really for most of the year anyway. Like I say, he was just hurt a lot. I saw where Rondo, and if you know what happened with the Rondo saga in Dallas, Rondo has played more games with the Mavs than AD did. So that was crazy. But I'm interested to see what Middleton gonna do. I know he's been on my on the waiver wire in my league for most of the season. So I'm interested to see how he's going to fit in, see what the young pieces do, Bagley, see if he improve, see if he can, make something happen. But yeah, these teams, they pretty much swap teams. So as we see what the direction where the Mavs going, they building around Cooper Flag, which I wish I would have saw, Flag, AD, and Kyrie together, but hey, it happens that way. But after that was the moves I wanted to cover. After these, this deadline was yesterday. After these moves, check the first 7 to 10 days. You know what I'm saying? That's going to decide the leads. This is going to decide who doing what and what the confirmation is from these moves, what the fallout is from these moves. Don't just chase box scores. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how they being used. Don't wait for validation. It's sometimes, like we say all the time, you sleep, you beat. So sometimes you can be too late on it. The deadline didn't end the chaos. It did define it. It did clear the way for some of these individuals. Fantasy ain't about who moved. It's about who now has the opportunity to do their thing. And as always, I'm T. Will. And as you know, if you sleep, you beat. I'll holler at y'all.